Thanks for staying with us. We're at Paragon in Silver Lake, and we're joined by Eric Osterhaus. Eric, thanks for joining us. We kind of get together every once in a while, and it's about that time of the year. A lot of things going on. So record wheat possibly this year in the state of Kansas.
That's correct. The numbers that are coming out and have come out have been very impressive. And of course, for a lot of the producers out there, sometimes you got to outproduce the price. And in this case, that is exactly what's going on. The big bump that we saw after this last USDA report was actually in the hard red area, and it was pegged at itself at just over 1 billion bushels. And just to give you an idea a little bit of how big that was, over last year our winter wheat yield was 53.9 bushels per acre, which is up almost 11.5 bushels over last year's crop. So quite a number.
Well, again, more grain, less price. Are we still seeing that?
We are still seeing that. Again, what producers are facing here at this point is not only futures being at a level that they don't like, but also basis. The wheat is stacking up in many areas because of the production, and because of that, basis is also widened on them as well, making it difficult to get a price that they like.
And again, we want to remind everybody, basis is the price between what the elevator's paying and what the cash price is.
Correct. Right.
Corn looks like another record year for corn as well as when we look at acres.
That's right, and being past that all-important July 4th weekend and pollination in most areas on the corn, it's looking quite good in many areas. Still some work to be done further north and east, but by and large the weather looks like it's going to let us get through that all-important pollination time frame. So.
Corn hovering below 4, don't see it going anywhere, I guess, above that anytime soon. Weather's got to play a big part of that.
A big part, and I believe at this point corn is probably more of a follower of what soybeans are going to do at this point. Soybeans are just in a different stage of their growth cycle here, and the all-important August time frame isn't here yet. So hot and dry weather coming in, like is forecast by the U.S. model here in a few days. Depends on how long it lasts and how severe it is, but if beans do make a big move back higher, of course you probably will see corn following up in sympathy. I think a larger move in corn would have to require having something actually happening during harvest and seeing some kind of surprise on yield.
Beans, again, South America having issues with their beans, really gave a nice rally to soybeans a couple of months ago, kind of leveled off a little bit. Where do you see that?
Yeah, I believe it leveled off, and I think part of that also has to do with some macroeconomic factors out there, with the funds getting heavily involved in the beans leading up to the vote on the exit of Britain. Believe it or not, I think that had a large part to play. Now that that has passed us, now we're coming back to weather and demand. And now that we've seen weather actually stabilize a little bit in a lot of those areas over the last month, a lot of that uncertainty premium has come back out of the market.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish up with Eric out at Paragon. You're watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute. If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're out of Paragon. We're joined by Eric Osterhaus. We're kind of getting our quarterly grain update. A lot of grain being stored here in the state of Kansas. We've got at least a lot of corn, a lot of wheat still being stored. Beans on the rally, probably saw a bunch of that stuff get dumped. But marketing coming into the fall, we've got possible record crop when it comes to corn. We're going to have a record crop when it looks coming into wheat. What should we be thinking about, Eric?
Well, first the wheat. The one thing about wheat that corn doesn't have is carry in the market. And again, by that, I mean the prices out for next March, May, and July on wheat. You're picking up 40 or 50 cents in some cases on carry. So for a producer who has his wheat stored in his own elevator, there is a reason, mathematically anyway, to keep that grain in his own storage facility. and try to hold out or wait out, possibly hedging out into next year, into those months, and capturing that carry in the market, and also giving the market time maybe to see basis like we discussed before, maybe having that basis come back to them a little bit as well. Corn, on the other hand, there is carry in the market. It's not nearly as much, and so it's a little bit more difficult. And the real push and pull that's going to be on what price you're going to receive for corn or wheat, both, is the competitiveness of each in regards to feed grain. Now, wheat is really getting to a point now where it is going to be competitive as a feed grain, or is already competitive as a feed grain, and that's going to weigh on the corn here in the short run anyway.
Beans, again, had a nice rally early a couple of months ago, or about a month ago, kind of leveled off, but again, still a lot of beans in people's bins. I mean, should they be looking at, 17, looking at holding on to their beans that long as well?
It's a little more difficult with the soybeans, as there is no carry. There's actually negative carry. You're actually seeing your future prices in the deferred months being lower than what they are nearby. So again, that's the market's way of telling you they want the beans now. And they're going to encourage you, and by encourage you, they're going to make it, at least from a price and mathematical standpoint, not as appealing for you to want to store those beans. So most likely, if you had to choose between the two, sell today or sell later, beans right now is leaning more to sell today.
Basis look pretty good for beans right now? Or?
It stayed steady. It has weakened up a little bit in the last couple weeks, but not dramatically so.
And moving forward, we're a long ways from harvest, I mean, as far as corn and beans go, but what should someone be thinking about right now?
I think we're in a weather market. I mean, you can see the fluctuations and the range that we've seen in beans just in the last couple of days, 60-cent range in beans from the high to the low. Every time they change that outlook for the weather in the 8 to 10 day forecast, the beans are reacting wildly, and both corn and wheat are following. So keep a really close eye. If you see that heat come out of the forecast and rains getting forecast into the late July, August timeframe, I really think folks need to be moving a little quicker on getting some protection underneath them on all three.
We want to remind everybody, myagadvisor.com for any information about Paragon. We'll see you in just a minute. Thank you for watching Kansas Ag Report. You have made us the highest rated ag TV show in the state of Kansas, and we thank you.